Very good morning. In the last class, we are discussing overloading, and we have observed how overloading for the methods. It is a part of the polymorphism, one interface, many methods. That's what we have observed. And also, whenever the suitable parameter is not available, that means in the last example, that means the last day question, what you have observed is, see, we are passing integer type and double type, and method which accept integer type, it will give the output as such, and the method which accept double, it gives the output as such. But uh, if you have not written any integer type, that means argument of integer type method, then it will pass to double itself, because you know the widening and automatic type conversion you have studied. Okay, and it behaves like that itself. Okay, so that's what about this particular topic, and today we will discuss some more detail about the particular operator, or that sorry, method overloading, and uh, we will discuss about how overloading takes place in constructors. See, overloading of the methods you have observed, and now overloading constructors. You are observing that we are having a class student and one default constructor, and along with that, one constructor which takes the argument. Same name, what we specified, that indicates it is overloading. Okay, so that's what about overloading of constructor. If you see the example, like if we are having one class BB, okay, as I told, you can write separate class, or in this itself you can write that. See, if you pass any particular parameter default and passing the value, so this leads to the example for default constructor and parameterizer constructor, and together it forms constructor overloading. That means if you are creating one object of type default, that is bb is equal to op1 is equal to new bb, so that will invoke default constructor, and if you pass any particular value, then it will take that parameter as a constructor. Okay, so this is how to represent the example for any particular constructor overloading. Please remember, we discussed two particular concepts, that is, one is with method overloading and another is overloading of constructors. See, along with that, just I wanted to tell one more information. In Java, we are having operator overloading with respect to plus. You know that plus is for addition and plus is for concatenation, is it not? And along with that, plus also operate as append. That means when you are using that plus operator with system dot out dot println, is it not? Whenever you are adding anything, a plus b like that, it will append this value to that. That means along with addition, it is also used for append. So that is what overloading of operator. That means plus is you are overloaded to operate like append rather than addition. Only plus we are using in Java as an operator for overloading. If anybody, somebody asks like what is whether operator overloading resides in Java, yes with respect to plus, only plus. Okay, because if you are familiar with C++, you may have this doubt: minus, less than symbol, greater than symbol, all these operators you are using as a function in C++. But in Java, only plus, and that also not to write any function, because inbuilt it is used to append. So that's what about overloading with respect to operator. Okay, now we'll see two important information using object as parameter. Okay, so far we are dealing with, in all the methods what we written, we are dealing with primitive type, that is int or boolean, float, double, like that we pass the argument, and return type is also like that itself, either void or int or float, like that we are discussed. Now we'll see how object itself you can pass with respect to methods. Okay, and I'll show you that with one simple example how you can pass object as argument. Okay, see this example itself will take. So what I'll do is I'll take two arguments which takes this particular value as a parameter, and then we'll see how you can pass object as a parameter. Okay, let us describe two variables in a comma b. Okay, default constructor, let it be, and we'll declare two more variables what I am passing, and I am assigning this to local variable. Okay, here I'm passing two values. Anyway, this is not needed here. Just I'll make it OB1. See this two arguments I am passing to this constructor. I am using constructor overloading for this. And next, okay, one more object I'll create, and I will give the value 1 and 2 for that also. Okay. Now you are knowing that OB1 is uh, of type of class BB. OBT is also of type class BB. Okay, but these objects are different. Now, see, what I'll do is I wanted to verify whether this object OB1 is equal to OB2. For that purpose, I'll write one function, okay, that is called equals. Eq, it is not built in, I am defining, okay. So equal function I'll write to compare the value, because what I'll do is I wanted to print the output. See, directly I'll print the output. Just I wanted to know whether this function, see on any object I'll invoke OB1, okay, OB1 dot equals, on that I'll call the method, and as an argument I'll pass object. Which object? OB2. See this, see the function OB1 dot equals OB2. That's what I am invoking. Okay, I am passing for the method. See, equals is one method. Okay, for that I am passing one object. What is this object type? Object is of type BB, is it not? So I have to catch this of type. I'll give some reference. Okay, so OB2 should match with this type, because you know that OB2 is of type BB, is it not? So I have to catch to that itself. And as it is a method, return type. So what I am doing is I'll give the return type Boolean. Okay. Now this now what I will do is, see, I wanted to verify whether this object value is same as this object value. Okay, so that is what I want here. So I'll check the condition like this, OB. Okay, see, because when you created this object, okay, and it is already initialized with the value AB gets the value 1 and 2 for OB1, AB gets the value 1 and 2 for OB2, is it not? That one I wanted to verify. Okay, I wanted to verify whether A is equal to this object dot A, okay, and B is equal to object dot B. So what I am doing is, see, here O represents what? O represents OB2. Okay. So OB2 dot A, whether it is equal to A itself. That means this A belongs to currently invoked object, that is OB1. Okay. A belongs to OB1, O belongs to OB2. Okay. If both are equal, then I'll return true, else I will return false. Okay. See, automatically that red mark gone because return type is Boolean. See, when I'll execute this program, once again you observe what I have written. Okay, here default constructor is not needed, just as an example purpose, just I written. If you delete, then also will not make any difference. Okay. So I created one constructor which will initialize local variables to instance variable, and after that I am passing one object for the method. Equal is user defined method. We are also having equal built-in method that I will discuss later. Okay, for time being, just I'll give some difference. Okay, just I written XX so that it will indicate it is user defined, because don't confuse, equal is also available as a standard keyword method. Okay, so here just observe, I am passing object as a method. Object is of type BB, that will be catched to BB itself. Okay, so OB2 reference is what? O. So which will invoke A and B, and AB is already belongs to OB1. Okay, so we'll see if I execute this, what output I'll get. See, true, because the values are same, is it not? 1, 1, 2, 2, it's same. If I just change, instead of 1, if I change 11, what happens? It will return false. Is it not? See, this is how you can pass object for the method. Okay, as we are discussing here is that example shows you can pass object as a parameter, and you can also retrieve object as a return type. Both are possible. Okay, because only with the primitive type you are working, but through object also you can do the task. Is it clear? Okay. Now, see, that is one thing, as using object as parameter. Now, see, you know, like constructor, various types of constructor we are writing, and we define it is constructor overloading. All these things are fine. See, just I'll declare more constructor which takes one argument. Okay, anyway, writing inside that itself not needed, just declaring that. Okay, like that. See, if you pass two parameters, it will observe that. If one more object, if I write new BB, if I pass just one value, it will catch that particular constructor. And now what I'll do is, I'll create one more object. one more object 4, which takes, instead of primitive type, which will take object itself parameter. Showing here because we not written any constructor as such. See, we have not written any constructor as such. Now I will write the constructor of type object itself. See, DB O. Same reference I can give because this is separate plug, that is separate plug. Okay, so it is allowed. See, you can write like this. See this. How you can pass object itself in place of this particular argument for the constructors. Okay, so how you are passing primitive type, like that you can pass object also for the method. Okay, uh, that's what the importance of object and what actually it means. That also you should know. Is it not simply passing the object? Okay, what is the purpose of that? You are passing the object, you are passing and the primitive type, all these things are fine. You can pass object to the method, you can pass the object as a parameter to the constructor. Okay, then what exactly it means? Then we'll discuss uh, two things with respect to how this object passing is different from primitive type. Before discussing that, just we'll see the exam differences, constructor and method. See, constructor name must be same as the name of the class. Method name can be anything. Constructor does not return have a return type. Method must have return type, that I showed already. Constructor is invoked implicitly by the system. Method is invoked by the programmer. You have to explicitly call the method, but constructor is not necessary. Automatically, when you are creating the object, it will be invoked. Constructor can be used to initialize an object. That's what the purpose of constructor. Okay, you have to initialize uh, using constructor, and your method consists of Java code to be executed. The purpose of writing the method is some particular task you wanted to perform. That's why you are writing method. Okay, constructor can be overloaded. Method also can be overloaded. Both you can overload, either constructor or method. So that's what the difference. Now I'll come to these two important property: call by value, call by reference. Let us take one example because it is a very important property, and you learned this in C, and using pointers you converted that call by value into call by reference, and in C++ also using ampersand all you are manipulating using call by reference. Okay, but in Java it is so simple. Just I'll show you how this particular operation takes place. Let us take one class A. Okay, it is having some particular method, that is some particular method M1, which takes the parameter argument int I, int j, and just the purpose of that is I is equal to I plus 2, j is equal to j plus 3, something like we write. Okay, then we'll write one class B where we are having public static void main because we wanted to print the result. Execution starts from this particular method. Okay, here I'll create object of type A. Okay, OB is equal to new Okay, now I'll declare two variables here. Int A is equal to 5, B is equal to 6. Like that we will write. And if you print system dot out dot print the value of a and b, you will get 5 and 6. Okay, you will get 5 and 6. Now, after that, ob dot, okay, will invoke the method m1 where I'll pass a comma b. That is 5 and 6. I'll pass, okay, and the control will go to this method. Is it not? So I is assigned with 5, b is assigned with 6. So I becomes 5 plus 2, j becomes 6 plus 3. The value is 7 and 9. And once again, I will print system dot out dot print a and b. What output you will get? You will get 5 and 6 itself. Okay. So this is what call by value. When you call the function, this value will be transferred, and here it will not alter the variables a and b. Okay, and it just assign that to ij, and ij will get the value 7 and 9, but it will not be reflected on ab. If you do that, that is called call by value. Okay, same example will represent with call by reference. See the difference in front of that itself. I'll write how you can change this to call by reference. And in Java, call by reference means what? Okay, very important. Okay, it is very common interview question. You please remember. Okay, whether Java allows call by reference, because programmers who are working with C, C++, they are very familiar with pointers. When you are using pointers, definitely it is call by reference. Okay, if you pass the address and if you manipulate the value, definitely it will make the change in the invoking variable. But how to handle that in Java? Okay, see how to represent. You declare the class A as usual. Okay, and there you declare two variables, int a comma b. Okay, and using the constructor, you can use the constructor int I comma int j. You assign that to a is equal to I and b is equal to j. Local variable you are instantiating, that's all. Okay, and after that you write the method also, void m1, which takes instead of passing the value, so what we'll do is we'll pass object of type a. Okay, one object I'll pass. Okay, how that will be manipulated, that I'll show you later. Okay, let it be. This is what one class which takes the parameter. Like that, same in this itself, I will alter. Okay, because I think this one we are remembering how to do that. So just here itself, I will manipulate. Okay, how you will get this call by reference. So first thing is you have to create one object of type A, and you pass two parameters, that is our value 5 and 6. You initialize. Okay, automatically it will initialize. And if you print system dot out dot print ob dot a, okay, and plus ob dot b, okay, double quotes, plus, okay, oba obb, means you'll get 5 and 6. Now invoke the method ob dot m1 and ob. Now you pass the object, okay, ob, you pass to this method, that is assigned to, because you know that ob is of type A, that is assigned to one reference of type A. This is called aliasing. You know that in place of ob, it is transferred to O. is it not? Now, see, O dot A is equal to O dot A plus 2. O dot B is equal to O dot B plus 3. Okay, like that you just modify. Now once again you print system dot out dot print double quotes ob dot A plus ob dot B. What you will get? You will get 5 plus 2, that is 7, 6 plus 3, 9. This value will be reflected on that variable itself. That is reflected on object itself. That means when you are passing object in Java, it is nothing but call by reference. So that is what the meaning of that. Okay, in Java, call by value means just passing the value, but when you are passing the object, it is nothing but call by reference. Okay, how to do that? Just I'll show you. It's very simple method. We'll do that very quickly. Okay, here itself we'll do that. I'll just delete all this particular method. See, it is very important. Okay, because how this particular call by value and call by reference is handled in Java, anybody can ask. See, just int a comma b. If I write, okay, and when you are passing the value, we return one object of type ob is equal to new bb, and you declare two variables, and a is equal to 5 and b is equal to 6. Okay, and using ob, I am calling the method m1, which will pass ab. Did not. So the return type is void. That's what we return. M1, which takes two variables, and this will manipulate a is equal to a plus I, b is equal to b plus j. This is what actually it is doing. Or in place of a2, you just write 2 or 3. So this is what it is doing. And like when you are passing the value, it will consider, but when you are displaying the value after manipulation, it will not make any difference. You'll get a, b means you'll get 5 and 6, that itself. Okay, it will not change the value of that 5 and 6. But when you consider that as an object, okay, quickly we'll manipulate. See, constructor, you take two variables I and j, and after that you just initialize that to local variable with instance variable. Okay, this one you do, and after that, instead of passing the parameter like that, okay, the object of type that, okay, that you pass, and whenever you are manipulating, you manipulate to that object itself, that is O comma A, O comma B. Okay, that is here no I, is OA. OA is the reference to the object. It's not. This one you are doing, and see, instead of working like this, you pass the value like this, and you just don't initialize like this, and instead of passing this, you pass the object itself. Now if you print, you can't directly print like this, is it not? Because object is there. See, object, and it is ob. See, here also I will print before and after, and now we will execute this program. See this. See, first time 5 and 6, and after particular object you passed, it is 7 and 9. This is what object with reference. Okay, the call by reference. That is how in Java call by reference takes place. Okay, because object, everything is an object. When you are invoking through object, your value will be manipulated. Okay, it is not call by value, it is call by reference. Next, see how you are passing the object. Like that, you can write a method which returns the object. Okay, like one example, just I'll show you. See, method, one method will write. Okay, let us consider it is inside class B. Okay, it is not taking any argument. See this B object you have created. Okay, and return OB. So return type is B. Okay, the class you have to represent, not the object. Okay, here you can't write a OB method because OB means what? Nobody knows, is it not? So you have to tell return type is object reference. Okay, that is of type B. Okay, so this is how to represent that. And in some other class, like you are calling this method, is it not? Some class A, public static void main, there you created object of type B, is it not? And using this object, actually you invoked that method, is it not? And it is actually returning B, is it not? So where you have to catch this? You have to catch to B type reference. Okay, so this is how to represent returning object. ಈ ಥರ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ಕಲಿಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ಥರ how to catch and how to return. Okay, if return type is object, okay, because you understood how you can pass the parameter object as a parameter, ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ. ಈಗ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದರೆ, ಸೊ ಹಂಗಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಸಿ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, we created one object of type B and we are returning that object. Okay, when you are returning that object, you have to specify ಯಾವ object ಅದು. It is object of type B. Okay, so that one you have to represent. Okay, ಈಗ you are invoking the method, is it not? You are invoking the method, but method is returning B, is it not? ಅದು ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೆ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಬಿ. Then what you have to do? You have to catch that to object of type B. Okay, even though the optional, because whenever you are invoking a method, it is not necessary always you have to catch to that. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಆಫ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಪ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೀವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಈ ಥರ ಇದೇನು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್, ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟಿಜರ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಅಸೈನ್ ಟು ದಟ್. You have to assign to that object itself. That means OB2, if you are catching, OB2 should be half type B. Okay, so that is what the meaning of that returning object. And one more thing, that is about recursion, the last topic of today's session, that is recursion. Very simple topic that also will finish today, so that with very beautiful concept will start next class. See, recursion. What is recursion? Because Java supports recursion, that's what we told. Recursion means repeatedly. If you are performing some task, it is called recursion. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದೆ. See, recursion means recursive flower, like sunflower. So all the petals are of similar type, is it not? Like that, if ಮೊದಲೊಂದು ಫಿಲಮಿಗೆ ಈ ಥರ ಹೆಸರಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು, ನನ್ನ ಗಂಡನ ಹೆಂಡತಿ. So it is somewhat recursive, is it not? Like that, one more, if you specify, is it possible to recall the name of a movie which is recursive? That is, see, Karthik calling Karthik. So that is the example for recursion. Okay. So recursion means what? Recursion means repeated. Very important example for this. Factorial. factorial is always very good example for recursion. Factorial andre ಏನು 2 factorial andre 1 in the 2. Okay, 3 factorial 1 into 2 into 3. 4 factorial 1 into 2 into 3 into 4. 5 factorial 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. Is it not? That's for the recursion. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಆಪರೇಷನ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಲಾಜಿಕ್ ಬಿಹೈಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್? ಲಾಜಿಕ್ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ? ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್. ಇಫ್ ಐ ರೈಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಎನ್, ನನಗೆ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ? I'll keep this as it is. Okay, I'll repeat. That is fact. I'll invoke n minus 1 multiplied by n. Okay, 5 ಅನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು 4 ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಕರಿತೀನಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 4 ಅನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು 3 ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ಕರಿತೀನಿ. ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ರಿಕರ್ಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಎನ್ ಈಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ n minus 1 multiplied by n. ಓಕೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈಗ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ 5 ಅಂತ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಇನ್ವೋಕ್, it will invoke factorial 4 into 5. Next, what it will do? It will invoke factorial 3 multiplied by 4. If 5 alle ide, factorial 3. So it will invoke factorial 2 multiplied by 3 into 4 into 5. Factorial 2 andre factorial 1 multiplied by 2, 3, 4, 5. So factorial 1, that means if n is equal to 1 aitu andre, we will return. Okay, because if n is equal to 1, we are returning 1. Else you have to return this value. Okay, and because each time if n is equal to 1 agatanka, we have to perform the task. Otherwise not otherwise, like it will perform this value and return result. Okay, so this is how this particular computation you are performing. So repeated agi ಮಾಡುವ task, that is called recursion. So recursion means that if we write the program, okay, we'll take one new page, because this is also common particular programming, that is RR ಅಂತ just I'll keep. See, if I click this, ನಾನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮೈನ್ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಎನಿವೇ ವಿಲ್ ರೈಟ್ ರಿಕರ್ಸಿವ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್. ಇದು ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಟಾಸ್ಕ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಒನ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೆಸರು ಕೊಡೋಣ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಎನ್. As I told, we'll declare one variable in result. Normally, the result is fact n minus 1 multiplied by n each time, and it will invoke this method. If fact another method, it will invoke that. Okay, finally we are returning result. So the return type is int, and somewhere recursion, the main particular task is somewhere you have to stop this, because recursively it is invoking. Somewhere it has to stop. That condition should be there. Okay, let us consider if n is equal to 1, we have to return 1. So this is what this particular factorial is returning. Now in ಮಾಡೋಣ, just will create one object, RR ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, because we return the method inside that. Okay, and using, okay, anyway, inside system.out itself I'll write system.out.println, because ob dot fact. Okay, 5 ಅನ್ನೇ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, any number you can give, either number. See, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, what you should get, is it not? That is 120. Yes, this is what recursion. See, somewhere if you not write this condition, because recursion means that condition is important. Whatever, so many tasks are there to perform recursion. Okay, as I told, Karthik call Karthik, somewhere it should stop, is it not? So how to do that? See, if you not write that condition, see the error, because it don't know what to do. It is calling that itself. Somewhere it has to stop. You tumba tower of an eye. So many tasks are there which are recursive. Okay, because recursion means somewhere it should stop. Okay, like that. Like if I call one itself, then one. If I call zero, zero galelu catch madila. Is it not? Then what it will do? Okay, this is what. Okay, so this is how unexpected situation will come anyway, and it is telling exception anyway, that I'll trace in coming classes. Okay, for time being, you just learn how this factorial you can perform. What is the meaning of that? That is a good example for recursion. Some more recursion example I'll show you in next class. Thank you. We'll stop here. Have a good day. Bye.